What's up, Yugioh Tubes? Pangor321 here. I know that now that we've had a few days to gather our thoughts on the ban list, I figure I'd go ahead and make a video and talk about it. I know I haven't done a whole lot of videos recently, but I also haven't been to a whole lot of events due to some things with life, and I just have more important things to take care of. But I figured I'd go ahead and talk about this at the least. Our first change that we saw that I really don't think was needed was super polymerization getting forbidden. Super Poly being heavily popular as far as main deck, one of in Shadows or Burning Abyss, I suppose. But I don't think its utility was relevant enough to see it being banned. If anything, it hurts the hero deck coming out in a few months here a lot more than it does anything current. I think Tour Guide should have been hit. I think there were just a lot of better options that they could have done, even Graph or anything like that as far as Burning Abyss. Fire Lake should have been touched. These are just my opinions on it. But yeah, Super Poly is no longer usable in the TCG, so that's the only thing that was forbidden. Limited, the first thing we have is Artifact Moral Tech, and I've read a couple things about it. Some people think that it should have been done quite a few formats ago. I agree with that. But just because it's not entirely the most popular deck as far as Hat or any of those decks are concerned right now doesn't mean that it shouldn't be hit. So I think Moral Tech was a really good hit, especially as far as the regional scene was concerned. It was getting a lot of popularity in terms of rogue decks, which isn't a terrible thing, but at the same time, the only reason a lot of them were topping, at least from my honest opinion, was because of the fact that they ran the 3 Sanctums, 3 Moral Techs. But that's just my honest opinion. Like, we had Watts top in Omaha Regional, there were Madolches in Fargo, and I'm not saying they don't have their own uses by themselves, but it definitely helped out a lot. So yeah, Moral Tech to 1, maybe we'll see some things like Scythe or a bunch of different artifacts getting teched and things like that now. Dark Strike Fighter, it's something we've seen. I'm surprised it honestly didn't go to 3 like it did with OCG, but TCG does like to test the waters in those kind of terms. Kind of like next format, I'm guessing Yugioh Guardian will probably go to 3. But there isn't a whole lot I think about DSF. I think it's definitely underrated in terms of a card, but it definitely has no reason to be banned. It's a 2600 generic level 7, which does make it pretty relevant. The fact that a direct attack and one effect from him is still 4,000 damage. It's still really good, but there aren't a whole lot of decks other than, I suppose, Yang Zings that really focus around synchroing, or that can even really make level 7 synchros as is. So I think it's definitely a good thing to be back. Its once per turn doesn't make it near as broken as it was in the days of Caliber Cat or Synchro Cat. So there's that. Snatch Steel coming back. I've seen a lot of mixed opinions on it. I personally think Snatch Steel is going to be a really good card. I don't think Hidden Armory is as good as people are hyping it to be, but it will be pretty good coming up with the new Shadow equip coming out for the Fusion, and Cliff Ward's already running 3 Sacrifices is. I think those are the decks that are going to be utilizing Hidden Armory the most. You're not going to see people just running Hidden Armory just to get Snatch Steel. I don't think it's worth the 4 spots in the deck to do that, but that's just my opinion. Time will tell how things end up going. Next up, we have Honest 2, and as a player that played in Lightsworn format back when Honest was at 3, Charge of the Light Brigade was at 3, I'm honestly a little scared to see how that ends up. I know Stellars can use it, all those other offshoots, Bujins, all those kind of things. It makes it more annoying, if anything, if you've ever had to deal with multiple Honests. Other than that, I don't think there's going to be I don't think it's going to have too much of an impact, but it'll have enough of an impact for rogue or more tier 2 decks to be able to do better, if that makes sense. I am interested to see, because I know there are a lot of Satellar players that aren't even playing the Honest anyway. Maybe now that it's at 2, you'll see a lot more people running it or finding it more worth the time now that it's an option. So that'll be cool to see. Yugioh Guardian to 2. We didn't really see a whole lot of Yugioh being ran last format. If they were running it, they'd run 1 as an option, not so much because they needed the Yugioh. But I don't think anything will happen. I think it'll follow suit with Gale and things like that going to 3 next format. So we'll see how that ends up. Darkhold 2, I'm with Robbie Cole on this for the sense that I don't think Raigeki should have been back before Darkhold went to 3. So with Raigeki and Darkhold both in the format, it just made sense to put Darkhold to 2. since we have Regeki as a better option anyway. I don't think that there's going to be a whole lot of decks running all three of them. Maybe a few stun variants here and there, like TG stun with Tengu coming back to 3. But I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of that. It's just going to be like running the one Regeki, maybe siding a Dark Hole or two. But I don't think we'll see a whole lot of differences there. And as far as the unlimited cards, we have Abyss Goond coming out. I think Goond and all the other cards that have been hit was just too much for the deck. They need some sort of push to get back into relevant play. Goond is a very good option, but I don't think it's going to bring them to the limelight that they were once at. But it will be enough to bring them at least back into regional play at the least, I think. Gale, I don't think that's going to be anything relevant, at least until Gold Series, when they get the 1900 4-star Bora and the other cards that I don't remember. But until then, at the least, I don't think Blackwings are really going to do anything. It is a good push, though. Reborn Tengu is pretty relevant. Plant Synchro Era. I'm a little surprised to see it go back to 3, to be honest, but I don't really have too much of a problem with it coming back to 3. Reasoning going to 3, I don't really have too much of an opinion. I haven't read a whole lot on the Infernoids that a lot of people keep talking about. But I guess Reasoning's really good in Infernoids, so thank God for ignorance. So Reasoning to 3. And then Transmigration Prophecy, I know it used to be really good, I think more so because it could just grab back another Transmigration Prophecy from the grave and just keep shuffling those back. But as far as power creep and all that stuff goes in Yu-Gi-Ohs, I just don't think it's relevant anymore, so it's a good thing to go to 3. Personally, I would have liked to have seen a lot of different things. Tour Guide could have gotten hit. More power to Burning Abyss and all that taken away. I personally think the April list, depending on whether the next Forbidden list will be Nat's format, I think that one could be really interesting. I'm with Cordero and Robbie and a lot of other people on that, thinking that we might get the Envoy reprint and all the other banned card reprints like Crush Card and those in the Gold Series set. I could see that happening, in which case it would make Nats this year a really, really explosive format with Ring of Destruction and all those potentially being legal. So I think next format could be really interesting. But this is my opinions in terms of the ban list. I think a lot more could have been done, but at the same time, it's not really, it didn't change a whole lot. So tell me what you guys think. Go ahead and subscribe. We'll have more videos coming up. I'm going to try getting some deck videos, maybe some duel videos from Dev Pro. I know I've uploaded those a few times. I need to get myself a mic for my computer, that way I can at least talk or give some sort of feedback into those videos. I know I've just been uploading the dual videos with music recently. I don't know if you guys like that or anything, but I think it's a lot better than just not having sound on it. So, that's my opinion on the ban list. Like I said, go ahead and subscribe. There will be more videos, and thanks for watching, everyone.